And once again, a good afternoon, baseball fans. We welcome you here. The 2025 Perfect Game Las Vegas Super Regional NIT. Chris Allard with the call. And it is windy out here today. You can probably hear it in the microphone. The wind's probably blowing 20 miles an hour straight in from dead center field. So we'll do everything we can to kind of protect the sound here. But you're going to get a lot of buffering in the background right now. We apologize. At the top of the first inning, the ZT Prospects were able to put up one run as they're the away team here playing the 406 Flyers. And again, to start things off on the defensive side, Brandon Manavong. He'll take care of pitching for the club. And behind the plate will be Jimmy Stout. He'll do the catching for the Prospects here. Over on the first base side, Daniel Bedar. On second, Cameron Walters. Over in the third base or 5 spot, Jordan Leon. And rounding things out over on the shortstop side, Blake Barberena. In left field position, Henry Kuhnsteller. In center field, Brody Taylor. In right field, Mason Moeller. The club playing with 9 players here at this particular tournament. So the POs, well, they're getting action. They're going to be out in the field. Kuhnsteller on the left side and, of course, Mason Moeller on the right side. You got 2 strong arms out there. Brody Taylor is going to be busy today. Stay with us. It's 1-0. Day 1, Game 1, Super Regional NIT. We'll be right back. Well, to get things going here, to start things off for the 406 Flyers, head coach Randy Walter. Frederick will step in. Frederick, the first baseman for the club, in Manavong with a high fastball up and out. As I mentioned, high wind here. We're trying to protect the microphone so you're not going to sound like you're in a hurricane, and the count is 1-0. Manavong with a pitch. Good pitch there. Locates. Strike called on the outer part of the plate. The count goes even to 1-1. Paul, the infield umpire, and a swing and a miss there for Friedrichs. And Rich behind the plate calling balls and strikes. And the count is 1-2. And swing and a miss, strike 3 there. So Friedrich will have a seat quickly there as Manavong efficient on the hill. And that'll bring up the 2-hitter, Braden Gusti. Center fielder. The team's out of Montana. I was talking to one of the parents. And he did go at the plate. And the count is 0-1. And a big cut there at the plate for Gusti, and Manavong runs that through. And he'll find himself working ahead here with 1 out in the bottom of the first frame and an 0-2 count. Manavong getting a little extra velo and snap on his pitch today as the wind's about 25 miles an hour to his back. And he goes low there in the lower part of the plate. The count is 1-2. Now hopefully the wind will subside here a little bit as we push into the evening. 2 games on tap for the Prospects as Manavong with another fastball upstairs. And the count goes even to 2-2. I'm trying to do the best I can to call the game at the same time, cover up on the mic, and Manavong. Quick work there, gets the K, back-to-back strikeouts for Manavong. The 3-hitter will step in. Buchanan, the 3-hitter. Carter plays shortstop for the club. As I mentioned, these guys are out of Montana. Manavong ready to go. Carter in the box. Pitch on the way. Fastball up and in, a little bit high and on the inner part of the plate. And the count goes to 1-0. And a good pitch there. Good movement for Manavong. And the count goes to 1-1. And strike, low part of the plate. So Manavong dealing here. As Carter steps back in. The 1-2 pitch. Inside. And the count will go to 2-2. And a full count. Manavong facing the 3-hitter, first time taking one of the batters to a full count. The 3-2 pitch. And a ball cut foul to the right side. So Carter takes a nice cut there and fouls it off. And the 3-2 affair starting up here. Manavong again. Pitch on the way. Strike 3 called. Manavong gets the inner third, and Carter will have a seat. And Manavong and the prospects, they go 1-2-3. We'll head to the second. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Well, on the defensive side here for the 406 Flyers, pitching, Sullivan over on the second base position, correction, behind the plate, Piron, and catching for the club, Friedrich over on the first base side, over in the 4 spot, Walter, the 5 spot, Thiele, 6 position, Buchanan, in the 7 spot, Beyond, and the 8 spot, Gusti, and rounding things out in right field is Cunningham. To start things off, Daniel D. Bedard. Bedard will step in as the wind continues to howl here, just outside of downtown Vegas. A righty-lefty matchup. Bedard here. D hitting in the 6 spot. So the prospects will go 6, 7, 8 here. And the count is 1-0. And a good pitch there, locating for the strike, and the count goes even to 1-1. Ryan Sullivan, pitcher of record for the club here out of Montana. And a ball missing there, the count goes to 2-1. And Bedard patient at the plate, looking at a 3-1 count. Coach Trey running third base for the club here, and Coach Sam down on the first base side for the prospects. As I mentioned, Randy Walter, the head coach for the 406 Flyers. Bedard steps out for a moment, wind blowing like crazy. It's clay infield that picks up some dust, and of course coming in straight from center field. It's going to take a lot to punch one out of here today. Pitch on the way, and a strike called. Faking ball, locates, and the count is 3-2. So Bedard looks at a full count, and he'll step back in. And D takes a cut, fouls it off to the left side and out of play. So Sullivan, pitcher record, taking Bedard to a full count here as D fouls off. No outs, top of the second frame. If you're just joining us, it's a 1-0 affair. The prospects on top. Sullivan ready to deal here. The 3-2 pitch. And ball 4. So Bedard gets on board. And Cameron Walters will step in. Cameron playing second base, versatile player. As I mentioned, the prospects playing with 9 players here this weekend. A lot of the national guys not able to make it. This is the makeup of the national team, but not everybody. You've got POs playing the outfield, Kuhnsteller and Moeller, 2 outstanding pitchers, and guys are getting some action, so they're going to get in swinging the bat as well. We'll see what that looks like. Should be some good stuff here. Cunningham from the stretch. Bedard over at first. Bunt attempt, pass ball at the plate. Bedard will move up 90 feet to second base. And a ball at the plate, and Bedard moves over to second. Todd Kuhnsteller, Henry's dad, has told me this kid, he's got game in the outfield. I mean, he's got game on the mound, he's got game in the field. Good stuff for these guys. They'll get a little bit of action here on the plate. Will be fun. Pitch on the way, and a strike called there, and the count goes even to 1-1. Shortstop, Bedard's back pocket, nothing there, kind of shuffling around, and Walters takes a cut, fouls it off to the right side and out of play. Buchanan, Carter, the shortstop for the 406 Flyers, and a 1-2 count, Cunningham ahead. And strike 3 call. Cunningham runs it on the inner third, gets the low part of the plate called. And Cunningham picks up the strikeout. And that'll bring up Mason Moeller. A quick visit by Coach Walters out to the mound. Stay with us. We'll be back. The 2025 Perfect Game Las Vegas Super Regional NIT. Chris Allard with the call. Bo doing a fine job keeping score and tracking things for Perfect Game. So I mentioned your umpires here this afternoon. Paul's on the field, Rich at the plate. As the conversation wraps up there with Coach Walter. And the catcher getting a word in with his guy, just making sure that they get everything set up properly here based on the situation at hand. And with Bedard at first and Moeller stepping in, righty-lefty matchup here. So I mentioned Mason, very good pitcher for the organization, getting a chance to swing it here today. Ball is out, and the count is 1-0. So a 1-0 count to Mason Moeller. Moeller looking at ball 1, pitch away, and the count goes to 2-0. So Moeller with a 2-0 count. Bedard parked at second. Buchanan holding him on a little bit, sort of shuffling around like maybe a back pick attempt, but he ranges up and rolls off. And a ball's missing outside. The count goes to 3-0. So Moeller staying patient, looking for a pitch here. Coach Trey down the line. Probably giving him and a strike called there on a breaking ball. Curveball looks like a slider, actually. The count is 3-1. And ball 4. So Mason Moeller will get on board with a walk. And runners at first and second will bring up Henry Kuhnsteller. As I mentioned, Kuhnsteller, a solid pitcher for the Prospects national team. As I mentioned, they're only playing with 9 players this weekend. So the POs are getting some box time here, swinging the bat. Shallow to the shortstop. They're going to get one there, and not in time at first, but they get the out at second. Bedard moves over to third, so Moeller at second on the force, but Kuhnsteller will get down the line and on board. So 2 outs on the books, and runners at the corners for the Prospects will bring up Brody Taylor. Prospects at the top of the order here. And a scoring opportunity with Bedard at third. Ball is out. The count goes to 1-0. The weather's been pretty nice for the most part as far as temperatures. A little cool here as we're pushing towards the early evening hours. We're heading towards 5:30 p.m. and apparently it's been pretty windy most of the day. We're just outside of the Las Vegas Strip area, and we're somewhat elevated as you kind of go from getting closer into the hills and all that. Getting a little bit more wind here today. So a strike called outside. Taylor takes a look there, and the count goes to 2-1. Again, we apologize for probably picking up some of the wind in the background, but at least you have an opportunity to watch the game. And as Cunningham goes outside, the count goes to 3-1. Sullivan, 3-1 count to Brody Taylor. Ball 4, so Taylor will get on board with a walk. And that'll bring up Brandon Manavong. Manavong handling things efficiently for the Prospects on the hill, starting pitcher for the club. Finds himself in an opportunity here with 2 outs on the books. And the count is 1-0. So Manavong, a 1-0 count, pitch on the way. And a ball out, and the count goes to 2-0. Manavong, right side, a hard hit ball in and out of the glove on the right side, second baseman. Here comes Bedard. Kuhnsteller will come over, and Manavong will shut it down at first base. And Manavong ends up with a single and a 2-run RBI. So they pick up runs 2 and 3 here on Manavong's single. Brody Taylor moves over to third, and it will bring up Jordan Leon. Two outs. 4 or 6 Flyers trying to get out of the inning here. Move over to the first base side. Tag slapped on by Frederick. Preston over there holding on Brandon Manavong. As Leon looks at a ball inside and low, the count is 1-0. A ball out called at the plate. Rich, our head umpire, managing things here for perfect game. A 2-0 count. Jordan Leon being patient. Sullivan working from the stretch. Runner goes. Hit and run. Hard play. Good grab from the third base side is in time. So a good defensive play from the corner as Teague makes a good play there and a 5-3 putout. And the prospects, though, will pick up 2 on Manavong's single. And we'll head to the bottom of the second. Stay with us. The prospects leading this one 3-0. Game number 1 of 2 here tonight in Las Vegas, Nevada. The 2025 Perfect Game Super Regional NIT. Chris Allard with the call. We'll be right back. Well, as we get ready to back to live action, Jimmy Stout fires it down to second base, and the 406 Flyers here in the bottom of the second inning will go 4, 5, 6 hitters. Teague will step in to start things off. Teague made a great play to close out the top of the second. Good snag over on the third base side. Hard hit ball by Jordan Leon, and Teague was able to grab it and fire it across for the out. So Manavong ready to go here. Bottom 2. And swing and a miss there. The count is 0-1. So Teague looks at a ball, steps back in. The count goes to 1-1. And a strike called there. Teague laid off, thought it was a ball. And the count goes to 1-2. And drop 3. Jimmy will clear it. And down the line to Bedar on the drop 3 strike, and Stout will take care of it. Perrion will step in. The catcher for the club. And a strike called at the plate. The count's 0-1. Manavong. And a good swing there. Jay takes a cut and fouls it off. The count is 1-2. And swing and a miss. Low in the zone there, and Manavong will get the K. Now 2 outs. Jay Walter will step in, hitting in the 6th spot. Walter plays second base for the 406 Flyers. And the ball there. The count is 1-0. Manavong comes through, backs it up with a good pitch, and a 1-1 count. As Jay steps in, hard hit ball. That ball to the right side. A quick move for Walters is in time. So a good play for Cameron Walters, rolling off of second base. He had to do a spin move and fire it over to Bedar, a 4-3 put out. And a well-hit ball, though, as Walter got a piece of it. But a good defensive effort by Cameron Walters. They turn the side over. We'll head to the top of the third. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Well, back to live action to go, and Blake Barbarena will step in for the prospects. We're in the third. If you're just joining us here, we welcome you. The 2025 Las Vegas. And a strike outside. Blake takes a look there, and Sullivan evens things up here in a 1-1 count. And a ball missing out, and the count goes to 2-1. And swing and a miss there, Cunningham. Correction, Sullivan gets it through. And Blake takes a cut there. The count goes to 2-2. Barbarena right side. Second baseman gathers. Little trouble there. Quick move and a good play defensively. And well executed play. Jay Walter for the Flyers comes up with a good play of his own and a 4-3 putout. So Barbarena will have a seat. And Jimmy Stout will step in with one out here. On deck for the club, for the prospects, Daniel Bedar. Bedar got on board with a walk his last at bat. And a ball low at the plate missing there. The count's 1-0. And a strike there, Stout taking. And we'll step back in with a 1-1 count. Ball low, the count goes to 2-1. And Jimmy with a big cut there. And Sullivan evens things up, and it's a 2-2 count. So Sullivan starting to settle in here. Jimmy Stout left side. Correction, right side, fouled off. So Jimmy stays active. He'll step back in again with his 2-2 count. Sullivan and the Flyers looking to do some short work here of this inning. Pitch on the way. Jimmy, right side, fouled off again. Rich has made a statement behind the plate, just said he just didn't want to bend over and get the ball. It was 2 inches away from him, so we're going to go with that. Jimmy Stout steps back in, a 2-2 count. And ball 3 on the outside part of the plate. So the count goes full to Stout. It's 3-2. Jimmy right side, that ball could drop in. Right fielder tailed right into his glove. And a good play on the defensive side as Cunningham just had to roll to his right side as the ball and the wind kind of just put it right into his glove where he was, and he pulls it in for the out. So a long fly out for Jimmy Stout, and that'll bring up Daniel D. Bedar. Bedar will step in. As I mentioned, he had a walk his last at bat. And Rich will reset the table, and we're ready to go here. Top of the third, 3-0 Prospects. And the count is 1-0. So Rich, little housekeeping at the plate. Bedar steps in. He puts it in play. We're ready to go. The 1-0 pitch. And the ball is out. The count goes to 2-0. And a 3-0 count to Bedar as he takes a look down to Coach Trey, coaching third base. Skipper Carlos Avila, head coach, over in the dugout, keeping an eye on his guys. As Sullivan ready to deal the 3-0 pitch. And Bedar looks at a strike, a good-looking pitch there. Sullivan, outer third of the plate, and Bedar looks at the strike. The count is 3-1. And ball 4. So D discipline at the plate, finds him on board with a walk. And back-to-back walks for Bedar, and Cameron Walters will step in. Two outs on the books. Bedar over on the first base side. Frederick holding him on. Ball out, the count's 1-0. Sullivan from the stretch. And Cameron Walters takes one between the wings there and finds himself 90 feet up on first base, hit by pitch. And that'll bring in Mason Moeller. Moeller got on board his last at bat. As I mentioned, the POs here this weekend getting some batting time with runners at first and second and 2 outs. Now Moeller steps in. Rich puts it in play. We're ready to go. Bedar at second. Buchanan, the shortstop, and left side. That ball drops in fair. All the way to the corner. Here comes Bedar. He'll round third. Bedard will come home hard. They're going to pull it in. Here comes Walters, a long throw in, not in time. So Bedard comes over first and Walters second. So Mason Moeller, the PO, taking care of business. And of course, always a pleasure to see Miss T.O.
Always a pleasure, Mr. Allard.
So like that, the POs showing their stuff in the box. Moeller gets on board with a double, and they picks up run 4 and 5 and clears the bases for Henry Kuhnsteller. Kuhnsteller, another PO for the club. As Cunningham works from the stretch here. Throw back to second, and diving back in is Mason Moeller. And everybody's good over there at second base. Sullivan with a good move. Buchanan was behind him and underneath him, but is not able to get the tag on as Moeller was laying down. Kuhnsteller ready to go. 2 outs, top of the third, 5-0 prospects. And a strike there. Sullivan will work ahead. The count's 0-1. Breeze kind of back and forth here as we're in the late afternoon hours. Slow roller, second baseman gathers. Should be a routine play there, and it is. So a 4-3 put out. Walter takes care of business there. Kuhnsteller has a seat, but they pick up a couple extras. Prospects lead this one 5-0. Stay with us. We'll be right back. You're enjoying the 2025 Perfect Game Las Vegas Super Regional NIT. Well, back to live action. We're ready to go here in the bottom of the third. Cunningham will start things off. Manavong stays on the hill. Manavong comes in tight. The count is 1-0. Manavong's had a good showing thus far through 2 full frames and a strike there. Manavong gets the low part of the plate. Cunningham hits in the 7 spot. Right fielder for the club. And the ball's fouled off to the first base side. And it's a ball and 2 strikes. So Ryan looking to get a knock for his club and get somebody on board. Scoring opportunity for 406 Flyers. The 1-2 pitch. Ball is low. The count goes even to 2-2. Stout sets up. Swing and a miss. Strike 3 there into the glove of Jimmy Stout. And Manavong with a strikeout there. So Ryan Cunningham will step in. Correction, Sullivan, the pitcher of record. And takes a cut there. The count is 1-0. Sullivan hitting in the 8th spot for the Flyers. And one out here in the bottom of the 3rd frame. Pitch on the way. And good work there for Manavong. The 0-2 pitch. Strike 3 there. So Manavong very efficient here this afternoon with back-to-back Ks here in the bottom of the 3rd frame. Rory will step in. Rory plays left field for the Flyers. Manavong ready to go. Pitch on the way. Strike there. Manavong works ahead. The count is 0-1. Rory steps back in. Pitch on the way. Manavong. Chopper. Slow roller. Barbarena gathers. And a rocket back across the deck. And that'll do it. So 6-3 put out. Barbarena to Bedard. They'll turn the side over. 1-2-3 inning for the Prospects. We'll go to the 4th. Well, back to live action. We're ready to go here. Pitching change on the hill. As Frederick takes over, and Brody Taylor will step in. A lefty-lefty matchup here. Ball upstairs. The count goes to 1-0. Now, Preston Frederick was playing first base for the club. Now he's on the hill. And a ball just missing up. The count goes to 2-0. Now, Taylor looking to get something going here. And that ball is out. The count is 3-0. And a strike there. As Frederick gets one on the books there, with Taylor taking all the way. The 3-1 pitch. And strike again. Taylor Thought he was on board. A good-looking pitch for Frederick. And now he'll take Brody Taylor to a full count. So Preston settling in here. The 3-2 pitch. Ball's pulled foul to the right side and out of play. And ball 4 just missing out. Preston trying to run it on the outer third of the plate. And Brody Taylor finds himself on board with a walk. And that'll bring up Brandon Manavong. And a ball low, the count is 1-0. Wind was settling there the last inning. Now we're back into the wind here in the 4th. Taylor over at first. A good look for Preston. Back up the middle. And that gets through. There's safe at second. They could have had the force. A good release from the second baseman. He had to roll off to his right to make a play. And Brandon Manavong will get on board with a single. So runners at first and second for Jordan Leon as Leon steps in. Leon back up the middle. And rounding hard is Brody Taylor. They're going to throw it in. They cut it at the plate. And Preston cut it off. There was no play at home, other than a lot of wind and tons of dust blowing up in the air. So Leon gets on board, finds himself with a single and an RBI, and the Prospects will pick up their 6th run here. Runners at first and second for Blake Barberena. Barberena will step in. Shortstop in the back pocket over there on Manavong, and throw back over behind Manavong as Buchanan playing in tight on him. Time is called at the plate, granted to Barberena as he steps out, and as I mentioned, we're going through a little bit of a wind cycle again. This is probably 15 knots straight in from center. Maybe a little right to left, if anything. And the ball gets away, the count's 1-0. As I mentioned, this is day 1 of the 3-day tournament as we're heading into the Easter holiday coming up this Sunday. And this is a 3-day tournament. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And a ball in tight on Barberena as Blake lays off. The count's 2-0. The Prospects play 2 games this evening, as I mentioned. The next game scheduled for 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Pitch on the way. Ball's upstairs, and the count is 3-0. So Preston just working hard here for his guys, looking to get an out on the books. And a 3-0 count to Barberena. And ball 4 as Blake lays off there and finds himself 90 feet down to first. And Jimmy Stout will step in. Jimmy with an opportunity here with Barberena over on the first base side, Jordan Leon at second, and Brandon Manavong at third. And Preston works ahead. The count is 0-1. So a good-looking pitch there for Frederick, and the count is 0-1 to Stout. And Jimmy takes a cut, fouls it back. So Frederick ahead on Stout at an 0-2 count. Bases juiced here, as I mentioned. We're in the top of the 4th, 6-0 Prospects. Rich puts it back in play. We're ready to go. Stout, left side in the gap. And here comes one in Manavong. They're going to throw it in, and everybody will stay put. So Jimmy Stout on board with a single and an RBI. So the 7th run will come across. So a quick conversation with, excuse me, Coach Trey talking to Badar. D has been on board twice with 2 walks. Ball low, the count's 1-0. Time is granted at the plate by our head umpire Rich, managing things here. As Badar steps out, wants to reload, and the catcher talking to him as well. And Rich puts it back in play. We're ready to go. A 1-0 count to Badar. And D takes a look there, lays off, and a good pitch there for opportunity there for Badar. Just taking a look, wants to see where he's going to get the call, and the count goes to 1-1. And a strike on the outside. The count is 2-2. So D will step back in. A 1-2 count. Bases loaded, no outs. Top of the 4th. Time is called again. Badar steps out. He'll reload. And Badar takes a cut, fouls it off, and D will stay active. So D steps back in. And an opportunity. Badar, as I mentioned, on twice with 2 walks. He'd like to get a knock here. The 1-2 pitch. Badar, right side, goes back to the pitcher, in and out. They're going to come home, no play there. And Badar hard down the line, but Frederick's able to make the play off of the mound. They looked at Leon coming home. There's no way you were going to get him. And Badar was just almost to the bag down at the first base side and a toss over. So Badar gets the RBI on the out, and they pick up their 8th run. Runners at first and second in Barberena and Stout, and Cameron Walters will step in. Walters, left side, foul. And here we go again with another big gust, as we're now pushing towards the 6 p.m. hour. Walters with a 1-1 count. Pitch on the way. Cameron, high flyer. Center fielder on the move. A long way to go with a lot of wind, and there's no play there. And Walters will find himself on board with a long fly to the right center field, I should say, and Barberena will score. So Walters on board with a single. And Cameron will be given the RBI single with Jimmy Stout over on the third base side, and Mason Moeller will step in. So Moeller ready to go here. It's a lefty-lefty matchup with Frederick here on the hill. Pitch on the way. Runner goes. Throw down to second. A one-hopper. A good throw down, but good speed off the bags. And Walters will find himself 90 feet further to second. And the count is 1-0 at the plate. And a strike outside. Frederick locates there. And the count goes to 1-1. Stout, just a modest lead off a third there. Coach Trey on him there. Everybody's ranged up. That ball gets away. And Jimmy Stout backing up as it caromed off of the concrete wall we have here, right behind home plate. We're about a lot of folks talking about the lightning speed down there on third, and having a good time with it. Dad smiling, having some fun. Jimmy was on the move, but he had to shut it down. That ball caromed right back to the catcher, and the count goes to 2-1. And strike called there, so Moeller looks at a 2-2 count. Stout's coming hard. He's going to have to get down. And out at the plate. So good play defensively. And out there. But that'll move up Walters to third and 2 outs. So a full count to Mason Moeller. Moeller takes a cut left side, and that tails off to the left and out of play. So Moeller takes a cut, and we'll come back with the 3-2 count. We're in the top of the fourth. If you're just joining us here, we apologize. We had a little bit of an issue starting out here. We got that corrected, and we're back live, and hopefully you're enjoying things from the comfort of your home. Pitch on the way. Ball's upstairs, ball 4. So Mason Moeller finds himself on board with a walk, and that'll bring up Henry Kunsteller. As I mentioned, the PO's getting some action at the plate here today, showing some good stuff of their own as the club's playing with 9 men here this weekend. Pitch on the way. Throw down to no throw, fake throw. And a strike called at the plate. So Moeller moves up 90 feet. Ball low there. And the count evens up at 1-1. And there, trouble. Good speed though in Walters. Walters will cruise over and find himself coming across on a pass ball there. Kunsteller over to third. And the Prospects pick up their 10th run here on a pass ball at the plate. Coach Sam down on the first base side, handing over the gear. Walters bringing it into his guys, and Manavong helping out there. And Henry looks at a strike. The count goes to 2-2. And a good grab behind the plate. And a full count at 3-2. In ball 4, so Kunsteller gets on board with a walk. And runners at the corners, and a visit from Coach Randy Walter. And this might be short work here for Preston Frederick. We'll see what he has to say there. This team comes from Montana, and opportunity for them to playing an NIT, and that's looked like it's going to be it for Preston Frederick. Did a nice job for the club, getting a chance to get his feet wet, again playing against the #1 team in the country, 14U Majors Club, the ZT Prospects national team. So Coach Walter makes the change, and Jay Walter will step in. Right-handed pitcher will get some tosses. We'll be right back. Back to live action. Brody Taylor ready to go. Walter on the hill. Runners at the corners, and a ball just missing out. The count's 1-0. And a ball out. The count goes to 2-0. Wind still blowing in right to left. Runner on the move. Swing and a miss. No throw. And the count goes to 2-1. So Moeller moves up 90 feet on the stolen bag, and Kunsteller, correction, Henry at second, and Moeller at third. Ball out, ball 3. So Kunsteller with a stolen bag. So the PO's in scoring position. How often can you say that? Pitch on the way. Ball 4. So loaded. Brody Taylor will head down with a walk, and that'll bring up Brandon Manavong. PO's will run very infrequently if necessary. But here we've got PO's at second, third. Strike on the inside. So Walter locates there, and the count is 0-1. Just as we get the wind blowing in, Manavong locked and loaded. Pitch on the way. Manavong fouls it off. Straight back and out of play. So Walter works ahead on Manavong with an 0-2 count. Manavong, shortstop. Oh, and a little trouble there, in and out. And here comes one, and he is down there, the young man at short. And that's Buchanan, if I stand corrected. No correction there. I'll tell you, they moved shortstop. That I've got some confusion on the numbers here, but hopefully he's all right as Coach Walter goes out. It is Buchanan at short. Thanks, Bo, from Perfect Game, keeping things in check, doing a fine job. But yeah, that was a testy moment, in and out. And I think the ball might have tagged him like up in the face area. Hopefully he's all right, but Manavong gets on over with a single. we're ready to go here, and Jordan Leon will step in. Buchanan's fine, back in his position, pitch on the way. The ball misses there, the count's 1-0. And the count goes to 3-0 on Jordan Leon. Manavong, Taylor, and Kuhnsteller, first, second, third occupied as Jordan Leon lays off there, and the count goes to 3-1. Leon, left side, pulls it foul. So a full count. Jordan steps back in. Time on the field until everybody resets. And Rich puts it back in play. And drop three pays off. And the Prospects pick up their 12th run. So Blake Barberena will step in. Barberena, second baseman, gathers, should be an out there, and in time. But the Prospects, they move to the 12th run here, and the top of the fourth frame will go to the bottom. Prospects leading this one. We'll head to the bottom of the fourth. ZT National Prospects over the 406 Flyers. Chris Aller with the call. The 2025 Perfect Game Las Vegas Super Regional NIT. We'll be right back. Well, a pitching change here in the bottom of the fourth frame. Daniel D. Bedard will take over on the hill as Coach Walter heads down to the third base side. And with Bedard on the hill, get some warm-up tosses. And Manavong doing a nice job. As the Prospects here leading this one 12-0 as we head to the bottom of the fourth. The 406 Flyers here will go 10-11-1. So Bedard will see 10-11-1 here in the bottom of the fourth frame. Well, we're ready to go here as Bedard takes over, as I mentioned, on the hill. And Rich will reset the table and we'll be ready to roll here. Grady steps in. Bedard ready to deal. And the ball gets away. The count's 1-0. The 1-0 pitch, a lot of wind coming our way. Bedard with a good looking pitch there, swing and a miss. And D will even things up. The count goes to 1-1. And a ball gets away at the plate. The count goes to 2-1. So Coach Ortiz making a visit out to the mound just to talk to D for a minute. And D usually pretty good command with his curveball. It's kind of what his pitch is, and accurate with that, and a couple getting away. So Coach Ortiz, just a couple of words with Bedard. And D will reload here. And a ball hit to the left side, backing up. That ball is deep and rounding hard. Going into second, maybe into third. Kunsteller will pull it in. And on board with the double. So Grady, the 10 hitter, gets a good rip there to the left side and finds him on self with a double and on board there. Brody Daniel will step in. So no outs here in the bottom of the fourth. Grady over at second. Manavong will stay fairly ranged up. And Walters over at first base for the club now. And D will step off. And that gets behind the batter, and the count is 1-0. So Daniel steps back in. Bedard from the stretch, a lot of wind blowing in from center field. A big gust here, right to left. Bedard pitch, swing and a miss there. So Bedard gets one back, and the count goes to 1-1. Grady at second, but Manavong shuffles into his back pocket. A little bit of movement there. Pitch on the way. And Bedard gets a swing and a miss at the plate. The count goes to 1-2. Grady steps back in. Daniel in the box. Bedard a long hold here from the stretch. And a ball missing out. The count goes to 2-2. So D looking for an out pitch here and trying to put an out up on the books as the leadoff man. A long fly ball to the left side. And swing and a miss, strike 3 there. Bedard gets the K, so D gets the out recorded there. And Bedard settling in now, and he'll face the top of the order. So Frederick will step in with 1 out, and Grady over at second base for the Flyers. From the stretch, a lot of shuffling over there. Banavong in tight. And D's going to step off there. Sun is long gone. Lights are going to be coming up next on the fields. As that ball gets away, pass ball, and that'll move up the runner. Grady ends up at third base, and now a scoring opportunity for the Flyers. And the count is 1-0 to the batter, Frederick. And the defense is ranged up here. And swing and a miss there. The count goes to 1-1. So Bedard evens things up. And hit by pitch there. So Bedard puts the runner on. Correcture the batter. And that got away from D. And Frederick heads down to first base. Runners at the corners now. For Gusti, the center fielder for the Flyers. And he's looking to get something going here. Prospects on the other side like to turn two. A ground ball could be their friend. Pitch on the way. And in and out of the glove. Jimmy Stout usually gloves that up 99% of the time. That just happened to pop out. So the runner moves up. That takes away the double play. And the count is 1-0 at the plate. And a ball out. The count goes to 2-0. So D, usually very accurate, is in a little bit of trouble here as Manavong comes in and says, hey, we got this. Just get me a grounder, I'll take care of it, says Manavong. D taking a moment, he'll reset. He steps on the rubber, we're ready to go. From the stretch. And a strike called. So D comes back and locates, puts one on the books. The count's 2-1. Temperature's starting to cool down here this evening. I can assure you it's going to be a cold one at 8 o'clock. Hopefully, if the prospects are able to finish early on the other side, when they get their opposing team, they could get things started a little bit sooner. As we're pushing now towards the 6:30 p.m. hour here on Thursday evening. From the stretch, Bedard ready to deal. The 2-1 pitch on the way. Swing and a miss there. Bedard gets it through and he evens things up. The count is 2-2. So D looking for his out pitch here to get 2 outs on the books. On the other side, looking for a knock. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Bedard gets the strikeout. Back-to-back Ks for Daniel Bedard. So Bedard taking care of some business himself. And stepping in will be Buchanan, Carter. So something's going on there with Bedard. Looked like he was kind of stretching himself out. And ready to go. Pitch on the way. Ball is out. The count is 1-0. I don't know. Here we go. The 1-0 pitch. Bedard gets the strike there. So D answers back. and evens things up. The count is 1-1. Lots of wind blowing around here. It's been that way most of the afternoon. And a 1-1 count. So from the stretch, time is called. Bedard will step off. And Buchanan will step out. D with 2 strikeouts, back to back, looking for his 3rd out for his club. Defense is ranged up, pitch on the way. Buchanan perhaps could have worn that one, got himself out of the way of it, and the count goes to 2-1. And a good pitch there, right side, shallow and foul. So a 2-2 count here with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th. Eric Ortiz carrying the flag for the prospects here. Ready to go. Bedard shakes off, doesn't like what he sees. He gets the right call. A long hold, sees his pitch from the stretch. The 2-2 pitch. That gets away, and coming into home plate, there's no play there. And on a pass box, a wild pitch. And the runner will score, and it's 3-2 full count. And full count here. Runner scores from that position on the wild pitch, and it's 12-1. And ball 4 there. So bases are loaded now. And 2 outs on the books here. Stepping in Teague. So runners at 1st and 3rd. And Bedard and the prospects looking to get out here. D steps off, no throw over. Walters at first base for the club. So balk called. So runner will score, and a balk called on Bedard. So they're in a position now where trying to get out of the inning and close it out will bring the runner over. And that's 12-2. And hit by pitch, so Bedard. That one gets away from D, and the batter will get on board. And Coach Ortiz heads out to the bump. We'll have a conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back. So Bedard is stepping off the bump here, Coach Ortiz, and the prospects making a change. Cameron Walters will step in. He'll get some warm-up tosses. We'll be right back. So the pitching change made, and Walters will take over here for Bedard with runners at first and second and 2 outs. The prospects were working with a 12-0 lead, and it's 12-2 here in the fourth. We'll go to the fifth, and right now the prospects looking to just close the inning out here. Walters on the bump from the stretch will work. Takes a look at second. A long check there, pitch on the way. And a strike to start things off. The count is 0-1. So Walters steps off. Walters with a quick move over to second base. Runner gets back in time. Manavong shuffling behind him. Pitch on the way. And Walters gets through, works ahead in the count. The count is 0-2. Strike 3 called. That'll do it. They strand 2, they pick up 2. The Flyers get on the board here in the bottom of the fourth frame. We will go to the fifth. Stay with us. We'll be right back. So Walter works ahead on Jimmy Stout. The count's 0-1. We're in the fifth frame. Ball out, the count goes to 1-1. Breaking ball just missing there, low. And the count goes to 2-1. Jimmy left side. That ball will drop in for a single. Yeah, Stout will find himself on board with a well-hit ball down the left side. And Daniel Bedard will step in. (12-2). Prospects. At the conclusion of this game, they'll be matched up for game 2, which that game is coming close to conclusion over on the other field. Bedard takes a well-hit ball. That ball could drop in, and it does, in and out of the glove. No play there, so Bedard gets on board and finds himself with a single. And Jimmy Stout will move up 90 feet to second. That'll bring up Cameron Walters. So Bedard on board at first, Stout at second. Walters steps in with no outs. Time is called. Rich calls time at the plate. Walters will step out. Ball to the right side with the wind pushing that way will go out of play. The count is 0-1. And a ball fouled straight back. So Walters with 2 strikes on him. And Walter, the pitcher, ahead here in the count in the top of the 5th with no outs and the prospects with runners at first and second. Runner on the move. No throw at third. And Jimmy Stout will get a stolen bag. He'll move up 90 feet to third. Bedard stays put. And a ball at the plate. The count is 1-2. Right side could stay in foul territory, possible play, and with the wind, that ball was gone. Once it gets elevated like that, with the wind blowing up there, it will just take it right out of play, and it did. So Walter stays alive with the ball and 2 strikes on him.
Come on, Cap.
Bedard on the move. Ball pulled foul to the prospects dugout. Coach Carlos relays that back over to Walter on the hill there for 406 Flyers. Ball's hit, could drop in. That ball's tailing some, and it does. Bedard will stop at second, and Cameron Walters on board with a single and an RBI. So the prospects get runs 13 across, and runners at first and second with no outs, and Mason Moeller will step in.
Come on, Mace.
Runner goes down to third base. They've got Bedard tied up there, and the out is made. So Bedard gets caught taking off, stealing to third. So a strike called at the plate on Moeller, 0-1. Runner at second. And Cameron Walters, the count goes to 1-1. Walters over at second. Bedard taken off to third. They get the out there, tagged him. And Mason looks at a 1-1 count. Throw down to third. And safe at third, so Walters gets a stolen base. Moves up 90 feet to third, and a ball at the plate that counts 2-1. And the ball's cut foul, straight back, as Mueller takes a cut. And a 2-2 count here with 1 out. We're in the top of the 5th if you're joining us. Prospects looking to close things out here with game 1. Right side, should be a routine play there. And they pick up the second out, but Mueller, he'll get the RBI. And the bases will be empty with 2 outs. So 14. Prospects pick up 2 here in the 5th. Henry Kunsteller will step in. Base is empty. Ball missing outside. The count's 1-0. Wind still blowing consistently, probably 10 to 15 mile an hour gust or better. Probably closer to 20 at times. And Henry looks at a 2-0 count. And Kunsteller takes it in the back. He's okay. The hard 90. And hit by pitch there. And that'll bring in Brody Taylor. And Henry's okay. Sam down there on first base. Coach talking to Henry like, hey, all right, you're all right. And Taylor looking to get something going here with 2 outs. Kunsteller over on the first base side. On deck, Brendan Manavong. Walter throws over to first. Kunsteller on the move, throw down to second, a good throw. And Henry will move up 90 feet in a stolen bag. And a ball at the plate that counts 1-0 to Brody Taylor. And Taylor takes a swing and a miss there. And the count is 2-1. Temperature's definitely dropping here now as the sun is long gone and Walter steps off on the bump. And the Prospects will have a game after this one. We're heading towards the 7 p.m. hour. Hopefully the Prospects will have a chance to get an early start if they get out of this one soon. Throw down to third, a good throw. That ball gets away. And no glove there, and Kunsteller will come across. So Kunsteller on the move to steal third. And a throw at third, no play, will bring him over. Now the base is cleared, a 3-1 count, and the Prospects bring over their 3rd run here in the top of the 5th. It's 15-2. Taylor with a 3-1 count. The bag's empty. Ball 4. Oh, strike called there. So full count to Brody Taylor. And Brandon Manavong on deck for the club. And swing and a miss there, strike three. So Walter gets the K. Taylor has a seat, but the Prospects, they bring over three. They lead this one 15-2. The Prospects will head to the bottom of the fifth. Stay with us. We'll be right back. And Cameron Walters starting things off with a strike here. The count is 0-1. As the Prospects here in the bottom of the fifth. And strike called there. And a ball fouled off. So Jace Walter, who's pitching for the club now. With an 0-2 count on him. Pitch on the way. And a ball swung on right side. Bedard rolling off with tons of wind, though. Really difficult to try to play something unless it's really close in the infield. In foul territory here today. The wind's all over the place. Jay steps back in. Walters deals. That ball gets away. And the count is 1-2. On deck, Cunningham. Backing up, Jordan Leon should have a routine play there, and a 4-3 put out to Bedard. And Walter will have a seat. And a ball at the plate. The count's 1-0. One out, bottom of the fifth. Ryan Cunningham looks at a ball there. The count's 2-0. And a strike called there. And strike low there, so gets the low part of the plate. And a 2-2 count. Cunningham steps back in. The 2-2 pitch. Upstairs, swing and a miss. Strike three, that'll do it. Walters gets the K. And the Flyers here in the bottom of the fifth are down to their final out, as the run rule will go into effect here. It's 12 after 5, and it's 15-2 Prospects. And a strike outside. The count's 0-1. The batter, Sullivan. Swing and a miss, strike 2. And a ball swung on, fouled off to the right side and out of play. The 0-2 pitch for Walters. And strike 3, that'll do it. So the Prospects, they finish it in a run rule, 15-2 through the 5th inning here, and a good showing for the Prospects for game number 1. Chris Allard with the call. This one's officially in the books. Game 1 of 2. The Prospects will play again here this evening. I will bring it to you live. For Rich, our head umpire, Paul on the infield, a fine job. And of course, Bo, perfect game. Sportsmanship, as always, will prevail. They'll shake hands at the plate, and the Prospects will move on. The 406 Flyers out of Montana, they'll continue to roll on. Good luck to them and their organization. Coach Randy Walters, and of course the skipper of the Prospects, Carlos Avila, his staff, Coach Trey, Sam, and of course Coach Eric Ortiz. They shake hands. This one's in the books. Chris Allard with the call saying so long from Vegas. We'll be back again for game 2.